Hello and welcome to this tutorial on how to use the easy annual budget template with Sinking Funds Tracker. If you purchased this template, I would like to thank you, and if you haven't purchased the template yet, please consider purchasing the template from my Etsy shop. I'll leave the link in the description. Okay, let's get started. When you purchase the template from the Etsy shop, you will receive a PDF with the download link where you can make your own copy of the template. To get started, make sure you're on this Start Here tab. It's a very easy setup. You're going to enter your starting bank balance. That's the balance of all of your cleared transactions. So if you have pending transactions, I would suggest just not including those and putting those in the transactions tab. So let's say you have $1,000 in the bank. You'll put that there. The next step, you're going to enter your custom budget categories. I've already entered some just to speed this video up. If you have a lot more than this, you can click on this plus sign here and it will open up more rows. Once you enter your categories, you're going to go to the January through March tab, assuming you are starting at the beginning of the year. Okay, you can start any month of the year, but I'm just going to start from January 1. The balance that you put in the startup tab is going to appear as your balance carried forward, and it's going to appear here. You'll notice that the boxes are shaded yellow where you need to enter information. Okay, so here, this is going to be your planned budget. So you're going to enter your income. Let's say income 1 is $3,500 a month and income 2 is $3,000 a month. Let's say you have a side hustle that earns you $200 a month. Okay, so your total income is $7,700 and it will appear up here in the summary for the month. And you'll see this here because you haven't actually received any of this income, so there's going to be a negative balance here. Next is your save and invest categories. If you're saving for Christmas or you want to do some house remodeling or a vacation, this is where your sinking funds are going to come into play. Let's say you're putting away $100 a month to go on a vacation and you're putting another $100 away to do some remodels on your house. Okay, and then you're investing in your retirement, $500 a month. Okay, now you'll see that there's $700 deducted from the expenses up here, so you have $7,000 left to budget. Next is fixed expenses. This is where you want to enter things that are every month. Your fixed, your mortgage, your groceries, your lights and water, gas for your vehicle, car payments, anything that's set in stone that you pay every month will be here. And again, like the startup tab, if you need more rows, you can add this. You can click this plus sign here and it will add more rows. So let's say your mortgage is $1,200 a month. Groceries, you spend $800 a month. So utilities are about $300. So you're putting I don't know, $400 in gas. I'm just making these numbers up. Your cell phones cost $150 a month. I'll just leave it there. Your next is going to be your flexible expenses. This is things that you can actually negotiate on. TV would be your streaming services. You don't have to have Netflix. You don't have to have Paramount Plus. These are all negotiable. Dining out, you can not eat in restaurants and just cook at home. So anything that's flexible goes here. But let's say you have $80 worth of streaming services and you eat out and you spend $400 a month eating out. Entertainment, let's say we go to the movies or, do some fun stuff each month. So we try to put $100 aside to do that. And we spend another 100 on clothing every month. Okay. So again, I'm just making these numbers up, and so clearly there is a lot left over to budget. I made this so it is 50, 30, 20 budget compatible. If you've never heard of that, it's you try to make your fixed expenses be 50% of your total income. Your flexible expenses would be 30% and your savings would be 20%. So if you notice here at the top, we have 37% of our total income budgeted towards fixed expenses. So you want to try to keep that around 50 if you're doing the 50, 30, 20. Let's move some of these numbers since we have so much left over. Let's say we're going to invest $1,000 a month in retirement. And let's say we have some life insurance and car insurance, and let's say all of that adds up to like $1,000 a month. Okay, let's say we're doing some home renovations. So we're gonna I just want to show you what happens when you actually have all of your money invested or budgeted, excuse me. So let's say we're going to put that 1970, we're going to do a big home renovation. Okay, now it says all set. That means you've accounted for every dollar that is coming into the household, including your carryover balance. If you end up budgeting too much, let's say you're going to get the pet groomed for $50, and it's going to tell you that you're over. Okay. So that's basically how that works. Now that's the entire setup. So you start here, you put in your bank balance, your starting bank balance, you enter your categories, you go to the month that you're starting your budgeting. So you can start in March. If you were starting in March, you could plan here, and you can see that balance carried forward carries through. If you go to April and June, July, September, it carries through. Okay, so you can start in any month. So once you get everything, that was the setup. So now all you have to do is go in and start entering your transactions. Okay, it's really simple. So let's say on January 1st you paid your mortgage. Well, let's get some income first. Let's say this is paycheck 1. And so you pick your category. So basically what is happening is all of the categories that you put in here are going to show up in the transactions tab in these drop downs. So income 1, under credit, let's say you got paid $1,500. Paycheck 2 was for income 2, and let's say it was for $1,500. Okay, and let's say we paid the mortgage. So we'll say mortgage company. And instead of clicking this and just going down and trying to find where you have mortgage, you can actually start typing mortgage in and it will come up and you just click it. And what did I say? The mortgage was $1,200. So we paid the mortgage. So I could keep going, but I'm going to show you. So now if I go to January, you can see that we've had some income come in. It gives us the difference. We still need to make $2,000 more to make that $3,500 here, and we need to make $1,500 more to make that $3,000. If you scroll down to mortgage, it's not there. Oh, I know what I did wrong. You go back to transactions. I put it as a credit. That is a debit. Your credits will be green and your debits will be in red. So we paid the mortgage, so we go to mortgage, and you can see that it is taking the mortgage out of actual, and there is a zero balance now. There's a zero difference, excuse me, between the planned and the actual. So that's basically how this works. You just enter your transactions, it automatically fills it out. You can see if I pick today's date, which is March 7th, 2025, and let's say I went to Kroger and bought some groceries. So that'd be groceries and supplies, and I paid $150. You can see since I picked March, and I go to groceries and supplies, you can see it deducted the $150 from March. So basically, that's how it all works. You start here, you go in for the month where you're starting this budget, you fill out your planned amounts, and then from there you just start putting in your transactions. I will say when you get to the bottom, if you run, there's no more rows, you can either add rows here. You can type in, say you want to add 10 more rows. You just add the rows, okay? Or you can hit this plus button and add one row. It will add just one row in like that. For the bills tab, if you want to track your bills every month, you can type in some companies. Let's say you have AT&T Fiber for your internet service. Let's do Netflix. And let's just say water company. Let's say your AT&T bill is $80 a month. Netflix, you pay $20 a month. The water bill is $50 a month. Let's say AT&T is due, today's the 7th of March. Let's say it's due on the 21st. Okay, it's going to automatically calculate until you have 14 days left. Let's say Netflix is due on Monday. Okay, it's within 10 days, this is going to turn red and let you know that the due date is coming up. And then it will have a total due here at the bottom. Once you pay this, you can check it off. It will gray it out so you know that it's paid. And then next month you can just, go to April and say that now this is due April 18th. Okay. I've seen budgets that have these complicated calendars where you can add all your bills in for the year, and I like to keep it simple. I just come in each month. The amount usually doesn't change. I just change the due date. It tells me how many days I have left, and I uncheck the boxes, and I'm ready for the next month. And again, you can see that the boxes that you need to type in are yellow. Yellow boxes here, yellow boxes here. So usually anything in yellow. Now, I didn't color this yellow, but you can type your providers out here. I just thought it looked more aesthetically pleasing to leave this, where it matches this. But basically, that's it for the budgeting section of this spreadsheet. For your sinking funds, if you like to split up your savings and save for large purchases, you can do it on the sinking funds tab. And basically what has happened is when you filled out this save and invest, when you filled out these categories, it populated those items here. Okay, so what you want to do is if you already have a savings account and it has a balance and you want to split it up between these categories, let's say you have $100 for birthdays and you've already saved, let's say $200 for Christmas. Dividends I'll get to in a minute. Let's say you're wanting to remodel the house, and so you're you have a balance of $500 to do some remodeling, and you have another 1,000 put away to take a vacation. Let's say you have another 500 for vehicle maintenance. Okay, let's just leave it at that. Okay, so now you want to put in what your goal is. Well, for birthdays, I want to save up $300. And the date that that's due, let's say it's June 9th. Okay, so now it's going to calculate and tell you how much a month you need to save in order to have $300 by June 9th. And let's just go through and say for Christmas we want to have a $1,200 Christmas. And of course that is due. Let's make it due at the end of November. Okay, so you need to save $125 a month to reach $1,200 by November 30th. And that's how this works. Now, let's say you want to put money, let's go back to our January budget. Instead of putting so much into our house reno, let's take that down to 500. And let's say we want to put 100 towards Christmas. Another, what was our total over here? We need to save 66, 67. So let's go and say we're going to save $67 for birthdays. Okay, let's leave it at that. Now, in the transactions tab, when you transfer the money to your savings account, let's go back to January. So January 2nd. We transferred. So we transferred to savings and we transferred to birthdays. Okay, and we put the 67 in. Okay, so now it's going to take it out of our January budget. And if you come over to sinking funds, you're going to see that it credited $67 and your starting balance of 100 went to 167. And the total of your savings account should equal this. Okay? And that's basically how the sinking funds tab works. Now, let's go ahead and let's say it's June and we have the birthday, and let's say we spend this $167. So what we would do is put in the date. Let's go to June. Let's go to June 2nd and say we spent $167 on birthdays. You see it's going to remove it from there. And if you go to June, transfer in, so under income transfer in, it put that $167 in our account to make up for the $167 we spent out of the checking account. So it just balances that out. The last thing on the sinking fund tab is if you earn dividends on your savings account. Let's say in January you earned $5. It's going to put it in the dividends category. So that is the only one I suggest that you leave on B8, cell B8, leave dividends here, because I have these calculations already set up for this. So if you say we do another 5, there's $10 now in the dividends. So when you go into to your start menu and you're putting your save and invest, I would not change this dividends line. I would just leave it and just build your custom categories around that. Okay. The last tab is loan amortization. If you have a loan, if you want to see how much your total interest you're spending on your mortgage, let's say you have a $300,000 house, your interest rate is 5.25%. 6.25. I wish the interest rates are so high right now. So it's a 30-year loan, and say you started paying on it on January 1st. Okay, it's going to tell you how much interest you're going to pay. If you want to pay extra on the house, let's say you're going to add an extra $500. It's going to show you how many months it's going to take you to pay it off and how much interest you're going to pay. So you can see if you change this, the interest will go down. Now you're only paying $150. So just a way to track a loan if you have one. You can see you'll pay it off here. The balance will become 0, and this all gets grayed out. Okay, and the last tab is the dashboard. Again, I try to keep it super simple. There are many budgeting templates out there that have charts and graphs, and they're all over the screen, and it's just, to me, it's so hard to read. I just broke this down by quarter. It tells you how much income you had and how much you spent by quarter. Pretty simple. It gives you an annual net total, so it tells you whether you saved some money throughout the year or if you lost money. And this is just a graph of your categories that you used throughout the year. And it tells you your monthly average for each category as you go out throughout. So when you're budgeting, you can come back and say, oh, well, I'm averaging this month on groceries. So it will help you fine-tune your budget and really know how much you're spending. And that's really it. It's a pretty simple budgeting template. Again, thank you for purchasing, and I hope you have a good day.